Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Me and Rich coming back at you. Honestly, we start with Bucko Chat, and then we end up. I don't know where else we end up. We end up everywhere. Um,
Ah,
Rich, how are you tonight, buddy?
doing good, man. Doing good. Little different angle of the backdrop tonight. I got a little cast going on my foot, so I am kind of propped up with one foot and kind of a cockeyed angle from where I'm normally at. But outside of that, doing all right. But you?
As you see, I'm on a new angle too. Had to do something. How to get this computer system taken care of. Um, yeah, I couldn't do it anymore. Like I did a show the other night, and the notebook just was not carrying any lights. I looked like I was just talking in the dark with the boys. Um,
Oh man.
Monday. I didn't know if you were going to jump in Monday or not. You were open to.
Monday was which one?
We were just having an open discussion.
Well, I didn't see anything about it. I'm sorry, man. I would love to.
You need to pay attention inside the group chat, my man. I
I
know
guess
you're
I
in.
need to get some sort of notification set up on it or something.
It's in the X world. I'm pretty sure you were part of that group. Let me check the protocol. Pretty sure you're in it though.
I don't know. Uh, X.
There you are. You're in it. Yeah, you need to pin that. You need to pin that, buddy. See it? Here, I'll say something. Did you get it?
Hmm.
Make sure you pin that conversation. That's the group chat for everyone in the crew. Me, you,
Okay.
Matt, John, Joe, Jamie, Trey. We do our thing. Dylan. I
I
did
can
my
definitely do that.
I did my first best ball with Dylan the other night on after the show. We got off and I said, "Hey, do you want to do a draft real quick?" We ended up in the same room. So
Very good.
Me and Dylan are in the same Millie maker betting world here. I don't know.
Gotcha.
My team's a heavy crapshoot. Hoping on some luck.
I I just started tonight doing the that DraftKings pick six.
I didn't do that yet.
Based,
It came up on my phone, but I didn't do it. I was like, I don't know anything about it. I did manage to
yeah,
fill
it's
up. Go ahead.
have you ever played Underdog?
No.
Basically what it is you pick however many you want to do, two, three, five, six, whatever it is, and you go higher or lower.
Okay.
Like tonight, let me pull mine up here on my phone.
Go ahead.
Um, like the one I'm in tonight, I have Jose Ramirez more than 1.5 hits plus runs plus RBI. Shohei Otani more than 3.5 hits plus run plus RBI. Freddie Freeman 2.5 or more than 2.5 hits, runs, RBIs, and Teoscar Hernandez more than 2.5 hits, runs, and RBIs. And you win based off of the amount you bet and the number of picks you have. You have to get them all correct. It's kind of like doing a parlay.
Well, just to let you know, Jose is 2 for 4, 1 run, one double, one stolen base.
Yep. Yeah, I got him and Otani already. Um, not quite sure what the story is with Freeman at the moment. Oh, he's got something for me because he's at two right now total. Teoscar Hernandez is at one total. So I'm looking. I'm in pretty decent shape to hit all four of these.
Now,
So
how does that pay out or whatever?
say again.
Like, you just hit all six and you win a certain amount, or you bet, or what do you do?
Well, yeah, you're playing it like DraftKings as far as you can do $1, $2, whatever.
Okay.
In fact, I'm gonna send you a referral. Um, let's see. Share my link.
I had DraftKings already though.
Yeah, but it's a separate app.
Oh, it's a whole separate app. Okay. Yeah,
Mm-mm.
I'll look at it, buddy.
Um, trying to think of how to do this. We got private chat on here, right?
Yeah, send it on my send it in our messenger.
Yeah, well, I was gonna say, shoot me an email, or a text, or give me your email in a text.
You can't send it the phone.
Huh?
You can't send it the messenger.
Or no, I'm saying in Messenger, in the private chat we got here.
No, I mean, how do you send it?
What do you mean?
Like, how do you send it? Phone number?
I can send it by email.
Right, but can you send it by phone number? That's where I do my all my stuff.
I can do it by phone number. Yeah, I just send it as a text.
I am not typing. I am not putting my phone number out in the World Wide Web here.
Right. No, I'm with you. Yeah, I got the little thing on the side here. Okay.
All right, cool.
So the number is 212-867-5309.
867-530-209. That's
For you, yeah, for you 80s people, that's you'll catch that.
said Jenny. I got your number.
There you go.
Uh, well, speaking of 80s, tonight out at the
You
theater,
you have a text.
out at the amphitheater tonight. Speaking of 80s, early 90s, New Kids on the Block are playing out at the amphitheater in Burgerstown, Pennsylvania tonight.
Very nice. The radio station I work with in Georgia right now, we are giving tickets away to the New Kids on the Block Paula Abdul show in Jacksonville at Daly's Place.
Oh yeah, I forgot.
We know what else Daly's Place is known for, right?
Opposite the track. Anyway, no, I have no idea.
Daly's Place was the home of AEW during the pandemic.
Oh,
All Elite Wrestling, for those of you people that don't know what AEW is.
nice, nice. So, Rich, I guess we should
Yes, sir.
talk about regular stuff now. Now that we've gotten all our DraftKings out of the way,
Yeah. You have a text from a 254 number.
I got you. So, Rich, what does this picture means a lot? What is this picture?
That picture is Willie Mays. I believe that's his last game with the Giants. Before he went to, he played his last year with the Mets. A lot of people don't remember that, but he started in New York with the New York Giants, went to San Francisco with the Giants, and ended up going back to New York to finish his career at the Mets. But I believe that's from his last game. Is that correct?
No, no, that is his first game back to the Polo Grounds after going to San Francisco.
Okay. Oh, for the All-Star game.
Yeah, obviously,
Yeah, okay.
I'm sure everyone in the sports world has heard. Yesterday, late breaking news: Willie Mays passed away, 93 years old.
Yeah. To top 5 player of all time, no question.
Right. I'm not going to disagree with that, but how long did he play in the other league? I couldn't find many stats, and it looked like he only played in 48, and then
In the
came out,
Negro League, he only played one season.
and he only had 15, and he only played 13 games. Also,
Yeah, he had, I believe, 8 hits
yeah.
in those games.
I was looking. Why does it look like there's just a massive glare going on?
Yeah, I'm sorry, he had 10 hits. He was 10 for 43, 2 doubles, a triple, no homers, 6 RBI, and walked 4 times.
Yeah, so that was also the picture in our background tonight is the return to the Polo Grounds with the Giants, obviously. Um,
Yeah, I mean, when you think about those icons of baseball, he's there. I mean, heck, John Fogerty did a song based on Willie, Mickey, and the Duke. Willie Mays, Mickey Mantle, Duke Snyder. The three big names from the 50s and 60s and 70s. 50s and 60s for most of them. Mays
No,
made it into the 70s.
all four of them have now passed away. And whenever you go to
Yeah.
find the show tonight, that will be the cover. That was the cover I used for the YouTube show tonight. But it had him in a Mets jersey.
Yeah.
I didn't.
Well,
I
it's yeah, it's really you really start thinking about it when you have guys like him pass away. 93. I mean, I'm 52. I'll be 53 in about 6 weeks. And
That's only 40 years.
all I have, huh?
That's 40 years.
Yeah, all I have
Doing it.
is what my dad told me.
I hope we're
Say
still doing
again?
it. I hope we're still doing it.
What's that?
This show. I hope we're still
Yeah,
both 83 years old, and I'll be 83. Or no, I'll
dude,
be.
I'm with.
We'll be them old. We'll be like them old people in grumpy old men.
Yeah, or the judges from the Muppet Show.
I love it.
You know, all I have is what I've seen in video and what I've heard and read and what my dad and people like that have told me of Willie Mays. And I mean, the proof's in the pudding, man. When you look at what he did, what he was, I mean, there and that right there, that picture right there says a lot because anybody you talk to that has had any stroke in baseball at any point in time has called him one of the best ambassadors for baseball ever. Even until last year, he was going to spring training with the Giants, and he was signing autographs for kids and taking pictures with people and all that kind of thing. This guy was, I mean, one of those one. You say you look up baseball in the dictionary, and this is what you see. Willie Mays is one of those that you saw, possibly on the Mount Rushmore of baseball.
If not, it should be damn close. I
And
thought I had the
and
very.
you got to remember too, he was in the military. He lost a year. 1953, he didn't play. He was in the military.
Yes, sir. I thought I had the other clip up there. Barry Bonds did have a very good Instagram post today. Obviously, that is his godfather.
Right.
I don't know if you got to see that clip or not.
I saw the picture that he posted, and then I saw another picture, and I don't remember who put it up, of him as probably a 10-year-old kid in the dugout with Willie Mays. Of course, Barry's dad, Bobby, played with Willie Mays for about 10 years in the Giants organization.
I'm logging in real quick on a different room. I'm going to put that picture up so people can see what we're talking about with the. I thought it uploaded earlier today. I thought I uploaded it, but apparently I did not.
Yeah. Well, but I mean, when you think about the greats of all time and that kind of stuff, I mean, with Willie Mays, the man won 2 MVPs, 660 homers, 1,909 RBI, stole 300 bases, one of only two players in baseball history to hit 600 home runs and steal 300 bases. He finished in the top three for MVP three more times, won 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11 gold gloves in the outfield, and quite possibly has the most famous catch in the history of the World Series in 1954 off the bat of Vic Wertz. That one right there. And they did a one of those documentary type things on him. And he said that his biggest concern wasn't necessarily catching the ball. He knew he had the ball. It was getting the throw in because there was a runner on second, and as deep as it was, because at Cleveland Stadium at that point in time, the center field wall was like 450, 455. And you could very easily tag from second and score if you were up against the fence. In this particular, Willie said that he was more concerned about the throw going to the cutoff man than he was making the catch because he knew he had the catch made.
Oh, they said he even got a late jump on it.
Yeah. He was notorious. He and Mickey Mantle both were notorious for playing short. They played very shallow for a center fielder, but they knew they could make up the ground. And the athleticism of those guys and things like that, it's really kind of crazy because again, you didn't have the nutrition and the training and all that kind of stuff back then. Mickey Mantle, his rookie year, his second year, wipes out both of his knees, tripping over a sprinkler head in the outfield at spring training. And he lost a lot of speed and was still as good of a ball player as he was. If it was today, it would be an entirely different discussion. He would have gone in, he would have had ACL surgery, he would have had them reconstructed, and a season later, he's back playing to full strength.
Right.
He was playing on crappy knees almost his entire career.
All right, I am caught up on what I had to do. Anyway, yeah, 24 All-Star appearances. 20.
Mm-hmm.
Unbelievable. I think I saw 11 Gold Gloves.
Yeah, the only person that played in more All-Star games than Willie Mays was Hank Aaron.
And speaking of the Braves, obviously I never got to see him play.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you got a glimpse or not. I'm not sure. I don't think you did.
Who, Aaron?
Aaron or Mays?
No.
But watching
Mays, I was born in 71. Mays retired in 73, and Aaron retired in 76. So I didn't, or at the end of the 75 season. So I didn't get the chance to see those guys. I was just getting into baseball. I was 4 or 5 years old when Aaron hung him up, and I was still an infant whenever Willie Mays retired.
it was funny watching a lot of the highlight reels today. Obviously, he cranked one over the left field scoreboard in Forbes Field, which was absolutely insane.
Yeah,
because I think it was like 460 feet on the fly. He put it over the scoreboard, just like Maz did.
mm-hmm.
But it seemed like a lot of his record hits were in Atlanta.
Yeah.
I know 5,000 or 3,000 was, and I think 2,000 was too.
I believe you're right. I seem to remember reading something about that.
And it just seemed like maybe him and Aaron just brought it out in him.
I think so too. When and I hate to, well, it makes sense, but it's two completely different eras. It's kind of like how McGwire and Sosa brought out the best of each other when they were doing the home run race. Except that Mays and Mantle did that, or yeah, Aaron and Mays did that over a period of like 15 years. There's McGwire and Sosa was one season. Aaron and Mays was 15, 17, 18 years. And yeah, it was just special when you watch some of those old games and that kind of thing. And you talked about the picture from the All-Star game. When you look at the All-Star games back then,
Mays wanted to
Holy mackerel!
he wanted to play all 9. He wanted like every game he played. He's like, I'm here to play.
Boy, that was the way most of the guys were then. That's one of the big differences between then and now. You
The money
know,
was different too.
everybody talks about, what Marcus Simeon is doing with where he plays every inning of every game and what Cal Ripken did for all that time and that kind of stuff. That was the norm back then. You didn't have guys taking days off and that kind of deal. They played 160 or 154 at that time or 130. They played every game every night, every day because he didn't have night games for a lot of them until they put lights in.
Right. I think the first night game at Wrigley was what? 80s?
August 3rd, 1988. August 8th, 1988. I'm sorry.
Huh.
I actually have a videotape of the game.
Dude,
The
VHS.
first, yes, the first game, the one that got rained out because it was raining throughout the course of the day. It was drizzling when the game started, and they got to the fourth inning and had to finally call it quits. But the first home run hit under the lights at Wrigley Field was
I have no clue.
the greatest second baseman of all time, Ryne Sandberg.
Ryan Sandberg. I was gonna say that, and then I was like, we've talked about a lot of second basemen on this show.
Yeah.
Ryan, number 23. That seems to be a Chicago thing. There was a pretty good basketball player who wore that number too.
Yeah. Well, it was funny because I wore 8 for a long time. And then I started wearing 23. And that was just, what I wore. I didn't wear it for Jordan, I wore it for Sandberg. So but it was really cool. And you're right. I mean, and that 23 number, I mean, think of all the other guys that wore it that were big name. Mattingly, wore it. Teixeira wore it. There's been a lot of 23s in a lot of sports. Christian McCaffrey wears 23 right now. It's a pretty prominent number in the history of sports, along with 24, which is the number that Willie Mays wore.
Yeah, number 24, 24, and 26 are 2 of my 4, 24, and 26 are 3 of my favorite numbers.
Well, and if you remember right, when Bonds came up, he wore 7, but he switched to 24 with the Pirates when Mike Easler retired, and he wore 24 the whole time he was in Pittsburgh after that. Then, whenever he went to the Giants, obviously they had retired 24 for Willie Mays, so he wore his dad's 25. And that's why he started wearing 25. That's the number his dad came to prominence in with the Giants.
Speaking of Barry Bonds, I have that quote. It is now uploaded. I'm beyond devastated and overcome with emotion, broken heart. I have no words to describe what you mean to me. You helped shape me and who I am today. Thank you for being my godfather, and I will always be there. Give my dad a big hug for me. Rest in peace, Willie. I love you forever. Not at pound. Say hey.
Yeah, the Say Hey Kid.
Say hey.
And that's another one. Yeah, that's another one of those where there was that time where those nicknames were out there that stuck. Duke Snyder. The Mick. Jolton Joe, Splendid Splinter, all that kind of stuff.
Whenever I watch the highlights, everyone tends to watch a little bit more, but he was in bad shape in his final year with the Mets. He was having trouble walking, hitting.
Yeah.
His final at bat, his final hit was a single. He made it, but you could just tell that he was done.
Yeah, his his final 2 years in with the Mets, I mean, he's 41 and 42 at the time. He played 69 games and 66 games in those 2 years. Only hit 14 total homers. Drove in only 44 runs. He was a shell of himself. He hit 238, a career 302 hitter, and he
44
hit
for
238 his last 2 years.
44 for 213. I think I read in his final year. I think he was 44 for.
44 for 230 or for 209
Is that plate appearances or total at bats? There
at
were two.
bats.
There were two different numbers. So he had
Yeah,
some
plate
walk.
appearance.
He had some
He had
walk.
30. He did. There were 239 on plate appearances. He had 27 walks.
So pitchers still feared him. I mean, he was still a dangerous hitter. He just wasn't
Well,
himself.
yeah. Yeah, and I mean that's one of those where you hate to see that happen, where a guy just is a shell of his former self, you know. It does happen sometimes.
You're gonna
Um,
play till that
but
body's done.
huh?
You're gonna play till you're done, and that was
Right.
his mentality. And he knew that was it. He knew. I mean, everyone rushed the field, and um, everyone helped carry him off. They knew that was it.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
wasn't
Yeah.
a year or anything. I think it was what, August 7th.
Something like that.
I'm
But
trying
the one thing I do know about
to.
all that is um when you get to that point, and again, back then you didn't have the training and the medical technology and all that kind of stuff that you have now. That
Right.
he may not have been as broken down as he was when he was 40. Because even his last year in San Francisco, he only played 88 games. Didn't do a whole lot there either. He hit 250, 400 on base. He did walk 60 times in 309 plate appearances, but it just wasn't Willie Mays. In 71, the man walks 112 times, has a 425 OPS, 136 games. It that's and then after that it just kind of went bonk, bonk, bonk. And you hate to see that for any player. But injuries will do that to you.
But they're always going to give it that one last go. They're
Right?
going to go, kind of like Jerome Bettis. Everyone was always complaining like, "Oh, he only got 6 yards and 4 touchdowns."
Yeah.
He got 4 touchdowns, but we're going to worry about the 4 yards because they're all from the goal line.
Right.
So I mean, it's kind of like that, right? Is that a fair comparison?
I think
Like,
so.
like those final years, everyone kept saying, "Well, those averages, those averages, and those yards hurt his per game," and everyone's like, "That should keep him out of the Hall of Fame."
Oh, well, I don't
And
know that anybody went that far.
well, that was the top. That was conversation. I remember. I was like,
Because when Mays retired, he was second on the home run list,
at 637,
660.
660.
When he retired, he was second. He was behind Babe Ruth. That was it.
Right.
The RBI list, I believe at that time he was second or third. Um,
And
obviously Hank Aaron passed him, and a few other people have passed him since. Albert Pujols, A-Rod, Bonds, of course. But I mean, he's still what, seventh, I believe, all time in home runs. Um, you
I
know, it, yeah.
called, did he
If
go
there was,
fall to eighth? I
huh?
think now eighth. I think he fell to eighth now with the merger, right?
He might be eighth, yeah. But the other part and this is something that I never really understood
Okay.
at all. How in the world did people that voted for the Hall of Fame not put anybody in 100% until Mariano Rivera? How did that happen? I mean, who in there? Let's paint this picture.
And you got
You're Joe newspaper guy, and you're sitting there at your Hall of Fame ballot, and you see the name Willie Mays. The first time you see, how in the world do you not go check? Or Mickey Mantle, check.
I don't
Joe
even know
DiMaggio,
on the
Ted
ballot.
Williams, huh?
Who else was on the ballot that year? He got inducted in
Uh,
'70. I know that. 'Cause I remember that. I was like, oh, that's the year I was born. So Willie Mays got inducted into the Hall of Fame the year I was born.
that was what, 78,
79.
79? We are family.
Right.
One of these days, I'm gonna have to pull out those hats. My dad,
I like the fitted ones they did. I like
my,
the rebrand of them.
my dad,
They put them on
about
one.
20 years ago,
They put them on the
got
new era ones, and they looked a lot better than they did with as instead of being the square. They looked a lot better on the round hat like this.
well, but these are the painter's hats, the ones with the pinstripes around them. I got
Right.
the black and the gold, both with Stargell stars on them.
Right. You didn't like them?
Love them.
I like the revamp of them.
I was okay with it.
I
I'm
don't like,
kind of a traditionalist.
but I like
1979 Hall of Fame, by the way. Willie
Oh,
Mays, Hack Wilson, and Warren Giles.
who? Who else?
Willie,
I know.
yeah, Hack Wilson, who until Ichiro held the record for the most RBI in a season, or no, he had the record for most hits in a season. And Warren Giles, who was the president of the National League for many, many, many years. Hack Wilson's from Elwood City, actually.
Oh, I didn't know
But
that.
Willie Mays was only on 94.7% of the ballots.
That's what I mean. I knew he got 94% of the vote. Still was enough to get a first time ballot.
But how do you not unanimously put something like that in?
Well, you got to figure maybe the what would that? I think there was what 35 voters at the time that time.
I think there was more than that. Let's see.
I didn't think it was that high for some reason.
Do, 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 do. Let's see. 1979. He got four. Let's see. Okay, so he was on. There were 432 ballots cast. That means somewhere, some way, there were 23 knuckleheads that didn't think Willie Mays deserved to be in on the first ballot.
Well, we were still in that awkward time frame. I know it
But it's
doesn't
not
matter.
even the.
And back then,
I
you know what
get
I
it,
mean?
but it's not even. It's not even the Willie Mays end of it. Ted Williams, Babe Ruth, Cy Young, Mickey Mantle, Joe DiMaggio, Lou Gehrig. None of them went in unanimously.
What about Jackie Robinson? Obviously, he wasn't. And Mariano Rivera was. What was Jackie Robinson's first time ballot vote?
Let's see. Jackie Robinson.
Which would that be changed now since the whole barrier break? Since the
I think it
merger?
would be.
Mm,
I think it would be, but here's the thing I think about Jackie. Yes, he broke the color barrier and all that.
but he didn't know.
But, huh?
He didn't know. That's been
in the
taken away.
National League. In the National League, yeah.
But now that all these stats are merged, it goes back to what Al Reuter, something like that.
Yeah. I mean, and really, Jackie Robinson was the National League because Larry Doby did the American League. But Jackie Robinson was on 77% of the votes. He was a first ballot Hall of Famer in 1962. Also included in that class were Bob Feller, Bill McKechnie, and Ed Roush. And yes, that's the Bill McKechnie, that McKechnie Field where the Pirates have spring training is named after.
I knew that.
So there's that. But I just don't, Jackie didn't have those ridiculous numbers for his career.
Well, if
like Willie Mays had, or like Babe Ruth had or something.
Would he been a Hall of Famer?
Say again?
If he didn't break the barrier, would have he been a Hall of Famer?
Hold on before I start speaking out of school here. Hold on a second.
One of those questions that.
Well, that's why I want to make sure and double check myself because he played 11 years, won one MVP, finished top 5 for another one. He 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 All-Star teams. But I mean, he only had 1,500 hits, 140 homers. Probably not. Probably not. I wouldn't have voted him in.
Maybe that's 77%.
200 stolen bases. He hit 313 for his career. High was 342. Yeah, I mean, if he didn't, would he be in the Hall of Fame? I don't think so. I really don't. He's and I realize it's probably going to catch a lot of heat from people, but
so Rich,
all very good.
Obviously, I haven't broken in this new computer yet. I don't even know how to call it new screens yet on this thing. That's why we're starting late tonight, folks. Just to let everyone know, I got a new computer. If you paid attention Monday, I walked in late. My tablet wouldn't load up and all this other good stuff. But anyway, I got a new computer. I'm still figuring it out, but we're running. We're live. So, and I'm not in total blackout mode like I was on Monday. So, if anyone was watching on Monday, I apologize for that. Obviously, I got there very late too. I didn't get into the show, Rich, until 9:40. But anyway, I was wondering if you could look up and see how many hits he had in the previous league to see how many he would have totaled with now.
He was, according to this, he had 1 year with the Kansas City Monarchs, 45 hits.
He only played in the other league for 1
year. Right. So he had 1563 with those hits from the Monarchs. He had 1563.
Wait, this guy was that good? He got noticed that quick for only being in the other league for 1 year?
Kind of looks that way. Kind of looks that way. I mean, it definitely looks like he was a good player, but was not a great player. Does that make any sense?
And I'm not taking anything away from the guy. You know, he dealt with tremendous shit on and off the field.
Oh, no question. I mean, there is zero doubt about that. And all the grief that he took and everything. No. And his durability was there. I mean, 151, 147, 156, 144, 153, 149, 136. The dude played a ton of ball games. He was out there every day.
Right. I'm not taking anything away from him. I was just asking in general questions.
I'm not either, but looking at it, and I mean, for those of you that aren't familiar with, Rich's parameters for the Hall
Oh,
of Fame, is that you've got to be a dominant player at your position for at least a 5-year stretch. And no, I just don't. I don't see it. I straight don't see it. So I'd have to go negatory on that one, man.
I'd like to see an updated Field of Dreams movie.
Mm-hmm.
I think that would be entertaining.
Yeah, but how would you work it?
I don't. Would you do like an original game cast versus the new game cast? I mean, they're all going back to their youth in the movie.
Yeah.
So I mean,
Right.
you could do it. I just don't know how you would make it an actual movie.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I don't know how you would make it.
I mean, we already had Kevin
I'm to
Costner
think.
catch with his dad. But
Right.
I'm just
No,
saying, good.
Field of Dreams is the best sports movie of all time.
I like The Natural too.
I like The Natural, but for me, Field of Dreams, best sports movie of all time, and fourth best movie period or third best movie period of all time.
I'm a big. I like Office Space. So Office Space is probably my number one. I don't know.
Oh, Ferris Bueller's Day Off is my number one.
See, I never saw it, so I can't say it. Oh yeah, look at that face. I'm not a movie guy, Rich. I am
You've
not.
never seen Ferris Bueller?
No, no. I also can't play the drinking game with my friends of 6 or 7 degrees of Kevin Bacon, where everything relates back to Kevin Bacon.
Yeah, I
I don't.
don't care about Kevin Bacon.
I don't either. But
I'm wondering.
they play it as a
Yeah,
drinking Rich around like back when I was growing up and shit. And I'm like, I don't know anything about the guy, so I'm just gonna sit here and have some beverages. I mean, I just didn't know
well,
anything
okay.
about.
Now I'm starting to wonder about you a little bit, but let's see where you are with my number two,
Go ahead.
Caddyshack.
I've seen Caddyshack.
Second greatest movie. Caddyshack 2 sucks. Scratch that. Sucks and blows.
Yeah, you
It
could.
horrible.
There's some movies you can't live up to, like The Hangover, Hangover 2 and 3. There were parts of it that were good, and other parts that were like, no, not it. No,
Grease 2.
that wasn't that good either.
Grease 2 was awful. When they tried doing Blues Brothers 2000, I give all the credit in the world to John Goodman for trying and for Dan Aykroyd to try and put it together. It wasn't going to work. It had to be Belushi and Aykroyd. It had to be the way it was laid out. That movie has got the greatest car chase scene of all time. And it's always kind of a bouncer for me with Blues Brothers between third and fourth with Field of Dreams.
And you could also never redo a National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. You could
Oh
never.
no, never.
The first one was good enough to be played every summer, every Christmas, just like Ralphie. Um,
Oh,
what
I'd
is
just
it?
as soon jump off the roof than watch that movie.
Listen, that's my dad's like 24 hours. You know it's gonna be on.
Oh wow.
My dad's movie,
There's
man.
got to be there's got
They
to be a ton of people that love it, or they wouldn't run it 24 hours straight.
they went to the house. They did the tour. Um, he brings it all out. My sister still finds new new stuff for him to put out. He's a big collector of it. I'm a big. Obviously, everyone knows I wear grunge style pretty much every day of my life, and they had a shirt that said "You'll shoot your eye out." so I had to get it for him for Christmas. And that Red Ryder BB gun and a cowboy. I don't know. Like I like, when they sing rah 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 rah, and then they cut the duck's head off right in front of the mom. Oh my gosh, that is hilarious. That is hilarious.
I just don't. That movie does zero, double zero for me. I mean, it just, But hey, what are you gonna do?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm a Spaceballs guy.
Love Spaceballs.
Spaceballs is probably like one of my number one movies. Just because I love
Spaceballs is great.
like it was probably one of the first movies that made fun of other movies.
And see that movie and Blues Brothers and movies of that type, that came from that core of comedians where you had your Dan Aykroyds, Bill Murray, Martin Short, Chris Farley, all those guys and John Belushi and those guys were just freaking hilarious. Steve Martin, John Candy. John Candy was so good.
Awesome.
Brilliant.
Especially when he was trying to eat the 244 ounces of steak. I don't know if it was 240 ounces, but it was a damn big steak.
It was some ridiculous number, but yeah, you're right.
Those movies would never pass nowadays.
Oh no. PC culture, forget Three Amigos. My goodness gracious.
And like my favorite comedian is Andrew Dice Clay.
Oh,
I don't know how to tell my kids regular nursery. I don't know how to tell nursery rhymes. I forget them. Because he's engraved them into my head so bad. Like I don't know regular nursery rhymes anymore. And that's just me. But I mean, I just don't. Like everyone's like, "Oh, tell a nursery rhyme to your kid," and I'm like, "No, I don't know the regular version."
Well, see, I'm kind of in the same boat because I'm a George Carlin guy.
I'm a Carlin guy. Carlin told the facts. Carlin told the truth and made it comedy.
But when he starts talking about driving, and he goes through the whole thing about, well, I get pissed on it. Yeah, and that whole, it's just, you sit there and roll no matter how many hundreds of times you've heard it.
I have a George Carlin on a 45.
Wow. I used to have him on 45s.
I found it at a yard sale for $0.25, and I was like, I'm buying it. I don't even care.
Nice.
And
very nice.
I mean, he was brutal. He put it to the bone. And either you like I said, either you liked it or didn't.
But it would never float today.
Oh no. Like in Spaceballs, whenever they're combing the desert.
Yeah.
What was that? Is that Eddie Murphy?
I think so.
And he had the pick. He's coming in with a pick, and he's like, "I ain't found shit." Yeah, that was funny shit. I don't care. That was funny. That was some funny shit.
Oh yeah, yeah. When you play on words and that kind of deal. What was Blazing Saddles was like that. They've made so many wordplay statements that in 2024, that thing would have never seen the light of a day in the movie theater.
Yeah, just like Married with Children.
Oh, one of the greatest shows of all time. Al Bundy was awesome.
And we all know Ed O'Neill got cut by the
Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yeah. I was watching some shorts the other day on YouTube under the Driving to the Top channel, obviously. But yes, like, subscribe, guys. I forgot, leave comments, get in on the conversation. We're well off any sports topic right now, but we are sticking to Steelers, talking about Ed O'Neill. He got cut from the Steelers and didn't want to leave town because his buddy was there. and he didn't know where his buddy lived, so he just took a cab and then dropped me off at this bar that was somewhere around the guy's house. And
Yep.
he was having a beer, and all of a sudden it said the Steelers got Ed O'Neill, and he's sitting there, and like all of his drinks turned free because he was a Pittsburgh Steeler at some point. And then at 3 o'clock in the morning, apparently he was hooking up with some chick in the backseat of his car, and the state boys were like, "Oh, you got cut by the Steelers today. Just carry on and leave."
Yep. And yeah, and it was the same day as what, the moon landing or something like that?
Same day as the moon landing. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, so you might have seen it.
I saw it this morning.
Oh man. Yeah, just some wild stuff. That's all it takes too. Um, Rich, I'm gonna throw a total screwball at you right now.
Okay.
Paul Skeens should start the All-Star game.
Excuse me?
Yeah, Paul Skeens deserves to start the All-Star game. He's the most electrifying pitcher right now in baseball. He deserves the ball
Okay.
opening pitch of the All-Star game. He doesn't just deserve to be on the All-Star game. He deserves to be the pitcher, the starter.
Well, and I mean, I'm sitting here thinking National League pitchers. And I mean, you don't really have anybody that is just head and shoulders blowing everybody away, that's like 12-1 with a 1 ERA or something like that.
He's throwing the
Um,
pitches over 100 miles an hour all
I
year.
could buy that. I could buy that. Now the question is, would Torey Lovello buy it? The manager of the Arizona Diamondbacks, who will be the manager of the National League All Stars when they come here to Texas next month.
Does start, will you go?
Huh?
Will you be able to get tickets to go if he does start?
Possibly, yeah.
I think if he's an all-star, I think he should go. Period.
I would love to. I'll get to see him pitch when he's here against the Rangers, though.
I know, but first all-star game, rookie. I really feel that
Oh,
he deserves to start for the. I really feel that he deserves to pitch an inning as a starter. Let him go
I,
too.
I I can go with you on that. I honestly think the Pirates have a couple of guys that should be there because
Ryan
you
Reynolds
can make
now with
as
35.
good of an argument for Keller.
He had a hell of a game today, but he still got the loss. No, he won today.
Right. And he's had a couple of those where he's had a hell of a game and ends up not getting anything out of it. But he goes 7, gives up 2, strikes out 7. He's carrying a 3.11 ERA. I mean, crap.
Yeah, but Skeens is
How
at
do you
9.
huh?
Skeens is at 2.29.
Yeah. But I mean, Keller right now is 8-4 with 85 Ks. 3.11 ERA and a 1.2 WHIP. So I think you can make an argument for both, to be perfectly honest with you.
But more
And
electrifying.
like you said, Reynolds might even be worth taking a look at.
Well, he's on a 17-game hit streak right now.
Hitting 275, 10 bombs.
He's finally tied McCutcheon, old man.
Huh?
He's finally
Yeah,
tied old man.
yeah, I mean, the problem with Reynolds is the excuse me, the just the outfielders available in the National League. I mean, yes, it makes a difference that Acuna is hurt. But when you look, excuse me, my goodness, when you look at the National League, I mean, it's just bananas that who all's in there, and that's why I say I don't know that. I'm trying to pull this up here. Vote. Here we go. Okay, so when you're looking at the outfield for the National League, you got Cody Bellinger, who's hitting 263. Um, you got Jazz Chisholm. You've got Lourdes Gurriel, Teoscar Hernandez, who's got 18 bombs. You have Brandon Nimmo. You got Jerickson Profar, who's got pretty close to the same numbers, but he's hitting 50 points better than Reynolds. You got Seiya Suzuki, Tatis. Um, there's a bunch of outfielders there that it might be tough to get Tatis in there.
You mean Reynolds?
Or Reynolds, I'm sorry. To get him in there. I'm not sure where he's at right now. I know he's not in the top 5, but I don't know. I think it'd be tough to get him in. But he's definitely the
Facebook page.
pirate position player that stands the best shot.
Rich, I don't know if anyone's on your Facebook page is trying to comment or not, but only you'll be able to see that. But hey guys, just remember you can like and subscribe to the YouTube channel, and if you have comments for us, you can leave them on the YouTube page, just to let everyone know. That is driving to the top. Phoenix is on the cover. Our dog, my dog. Yeah, Rich, I just wanted to let you know you had some viewers on your Facebook page.
Good.
So
that's great. I appreciate it. I know I mentioned to a few people this past week about us doing this and all that. So
good. More we get out there, the better.
Exactly.
Tomorrow night, Rich, I know you and your lovely lady, you got a little dine in. You can't move much. Maybe you got the bed things for the little date night movie on the bed. I like it. Anyway, tomorrow night, guys, on the channel, we have Josh Yohe coming on. We're going to talk some Penguins and probably some NHL. Kachuk, the last night, almost stopped that goal from going in. Hell of a way to get back. I mean, that was just crazy.
Yeah. I'll tell you, the playoffs have been fun. The playoffs have been real fun.
They're getting fun. I love it now that we're in Game 6. And Edmonton has all the momentum right now.
Yeah, this particularly the conference finals and now in the cup finals, it just really seems that you can really see this new generation coming in. Is it just me, or are you seeing that too?
Well, I'm seeing this Skinner kid for the Edmonton Oilers. If you look after Game 3, this kid's been pretty much lights out. Once he gets the feel for this, who they're playing, this playoffs, this kid's been lights out pretty much in these, like from Game 3 to Game 4 on. He has been pretty top notch. Now, the first couple games, these are the games that say we're not going to make it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know if you picked up on that or not, but I know I did. I'm sure everyone watching this series has. If you paid attention to Edmonton at all, actually.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I haven't watched as much as I would like of hockey in general this season. I've picked up a little bit of Penguins, a decent amount of Penguin stuff, pretty good amount of Stars stuff. But as far as everything else, I don't know.
Well, I mean, you probably get all the packages at your house because you cover all the sports, right? Or do you not get everything? Give you everything?
No, I mean, I don't get I don't have like the MLB what is it, extra innings package and that kind of deal, or the
I lucked out. My buddy in Atlanta was like, "Hey, my dad's not using this. Do you want the password?" What am I gonna say? No.
Right.
No, my buddy Marcus. I've never actually talked to the guy. We've only texted. We chat back and forth about DFS and fantasy, and we talk about things, but it's all text. I've never actually talked to the guy. Seems like a super nice guy, but I've never talked to him.
Yeah. In this day and age, that's not that uncommon, I think.
No, it's not, and that's so weird. Like I've asked him to
That would also be accurate.
I've asked him to come on the show a couple times, like, hey, we're talking Vikings tonight. You want to talk Vikings with us? He's a big Vikings fan and he lives in Atlanta.
Yeah.
But he's a Braves fan.
Okay.
I just know his team, so that's all I pay attention to.
I was just putting the map together. That's all. It's kind of visualizing.
So Rich,
Yeah.
who has been your major downplay surprise this year? Like mine is definitely Henry Davis. I expected so much more out of this kid after all the hype. He had his feel for the game last year, started getting better swings, better cuts, and I figured the sophomore season would have been, you know, pretty much do or die, and he's just not having it right now.
Yeah.
I mean, this has been like they expected so much, but then like once they realized like like they must have seen this when they brought in Grindal, and because you wouldn't bring in a veteran catcher if you felt your rookie catcher was going to be progressing. I guess that was a better.
True. And Davis, I just don't know. Does it almost seem like he's got a deer in headlights look to you a lot of times?
Something missing. There's something missing, and I
Yeah,
can't pick.
and I can't pick it out either. But it seems like a lot of times he just is straight deer in headlights. And I don't know how you fix that. And the guy that I'm bringing into this, I think, is the same way, and that's Sawinski.
He was. These two were close. These two were real close in my list. He has like
I was expecting a lot from Sawinski this year.
he has 44 strikeouts already. I think since he's been called back up, it's ridiculous. Well, I mean, this guy either hits a bomb or he's three swings and out.
Mm-hmm.
And we've seen so many of these players that now all of a sudden everyone's seeing he stinks. He's not real good. But guess what? Guess what keeps him on this team? Analytics. Yeah. He's going to hit a bomb.
Remember far enough back in the day when you had Rob Deere and Adam Dunn and guys like that would hit, they'd hit 30, 35 bombs and hit 220. But they were the embarrassment of the league because they weren't hitting. Now, it seems like the league is okay with having a guy on every team that's like that.
Pedro Alvarez might be praised.
Pedro Alvarez. Oh, wow. Pedro Alvarez. Oh, my gosh. I hadn't heard that name in forever.
He was a hit or miss guy. He was a hit or miss guy.
Yeah?
Analytics would have kept Pedro Alvarez around.
Yeah.
Because when he hit that ball, it was a long freaking way.
Oh, when he actually hit it, I mean, he hit that booger a mile.
Right.
I even got to see him in college whenever I was doing things with Baylor. When he was in college, we had super regional here, and he hit one that I still don't think's come down yet. The guy could hit, and he was a decent fielder. He just couldn't hit anything besides the 390-foot shot.
I'm not getting into it. You mentioned Baylor. what are your thoughts on all this Caitlin Clark bonanzas?
Well, I think if I remember correctly, we kind of came across a little bit of this last time.
Well, I if we're gonna dive deep into this
Yeah.
whole thing all of a sudden, I have further questions that are probably gonna lead to rabbit hole after rabbit hole, and I don't know if we're ready to go there.
Well, Caitlin Clark not making the
She made
USA team,
on it now.
huh?
She's on it now,
Well, but originally not making
right?
it.
But why she's on it is not even in question by anyone, which completely throws me off why this was not in question at all. Okay.
Well,
So
unless I missed something, she got put on the team because of an injury.
no, no, no. Brittany Griner just left the team.
That's right. That's
'Cause
right.
and now whenever she got arrested, if you looked at the pictures whenever she came back, she kind of looked like me.
Well,
And with the Leah Thomas ruling coming out, that's what I think a lot of people are starting to question. Because this was a big topic a few years ago.
it was. And could it be?
I mean,
Hell, nowadays,
I have
hell,
pictures
man.
of I have pictures of that on a basketball court with no shirt on. It looked like it did.
Yeah, I mean, hell, nowadays
And
it could be. I don't know.
I seriously believe she had to get let go. No one even questioned it. No one looked into it. You don't just leave the Olympic team.
Right. And, it's also one of those things that question has been out there since she was at Baylor.
Right. But now,
Um,
like with this ruling about Leah Thomas not being able to swim with the ladies,
right.
all of a sudden the Olympics slapped down and said, if you're not a full female, you're not competing in full women's sport. And no
Right.
later than 2 to 3 days later, Brittany Griner just said, I'm not going to the Olympics.
Well,
It's just a little iffy.
it is. It is.
Weird how and it usually happens when no media talks about it. And I know I'm going like deep down the rabbit hole here, but like I feel that this should have been a little bit more questioned than it was.
Well, you also got to kind of take into consideration one other thing, that they were trying to do this as far under the radar as humanly possible. Um, and they, I think, accomplished that. It didn't hurt much that you had an injury at the same time with Cameron Brink blowing her ACL, and that whole situation with that. Um, Grand scheme of things, if that's the case, then okay, she saved a lot of embarrassment for the Olympic team, for herself, and all that. Does it raise other questions? Sure. Have those questions been around for 10 years? 10, 12 years? Absolutely. Those questions, like I say, those questions were there when she was at Baylor. I know because I heard them. People asked them not all the time, but you heard them semi regularly, or you'd hear some sort of a statement, some sort of a backhanded, cockeyed statement from some jerk. And okay, say what you want, say what you think until you know what the real story is, don't run with it.
I'm not running with it. I'm just asking questions
Oh,
because
no. I'm not saying you. I'm
it's
saying
all
some just,
it's all
you
awkward timing with the Leah Thomas come
yeah.
down on the Olympic rolling.
No. I know where you're coming from. I'm talking about back when she was at Baylor and this was going down.
I had questions,
Um,
too, but I didn't really care because it never
well, but
really
you got to also remember, society is different. Society is different than it was 10 or 12 years ago, too.
right. They all kind of just kept their mouth shut and played ball.
Pretty
They didn't.
much.
They didn't go out on a limb and say, "Hey, vote for this person, vote for that person." That person said
Yeah,
this. That no, they just played ball back then. They didn't care.
you're right. But the thing that I look at with this
And they have
whole,
forced us to pay attention to this shit closer,
they have, they
and
have.
it's not a good thing for them because no one gave a shit then. No one gave a shit. Like I didn't care if you were gay. Just don't hit on me. Just
Right.
you want to be cool with me? Be cool with me. Just don't hit on me, and we'll be cool.
Yeah.
That's always been my motto towards whatever.
Right.
You're cool with you.
And I agree. I agree with you with that. Um, I also agree with the competitive fairness, and I agree with what the Olympic Committee decided. Um, because that is I don't care what anybody tries to say. That is a competitive difference. Um, in most sports. Now there are some sports it wouldn't make a lick of difference. If you were, I mean, I know some female bowlers that are as good or better than guys. No question about it. You get into, I know some female
Oh,
golfers that are as good or better than a lot of guys.
do you think
They may
they
not
should?
drive as far, but they're a hell of a lot more accurate.
Do you think they should eliminate the women's tee and just play from the men's tee altogether? And we'll call it the unisex tee, I guess. I don't know.
That may end up happening before it's all said and done, or make it the AT, the BT, and the CT, and then that way, they can gauge it on skill level or whatever. If your handicap is between here and here, play this one. If it's between here and here, play that one. Maybe that's the route they go.
Speaking of golf, Nick Shipley from Mount Lebanon is playing some hell of amateur golf right now. He's probably going to get his. He probably already got his card, and he's going to be well on his way. He finished the low amateur at the Open, got to finish his round at the Masters with Pebble with. Oh my! I almost said with Pebble Beach. That's what I almost said. But with Tiger Woods. God, yeah, this kid's living a dream.
Yeah, yeah, and well deserved. I mean, you got to work hard. That sport is probably, and I know this is probably going to get some people stirred up. That sport probably has to have more work put into it than any other because you're hitting a little white ball 1,500 feet and trying to knock it in a hole 4 inches around.
You got
I
me
mean,
thinking
it's flipping bananas.
about Robin Williams skit where he's talking about the golf. Let's play a game of golf on a gopher hole. Oh man. Yeah, it's coming. Me and my buddies were just talking about getting tickets to Oakmont because it is coming
That'd be
back.
cool.
Let's go see the pews.
That'd be cool.
So hopefully, we stick to it and we end up going because that'd be pretty cool. Who knows? Nick Shipley might be a pro then, and it looks like I think if you finish on the final rounds of the Open and the Masters, I believe you get your invite, right? I believe he's already scored his invites, right?
I believe so. Yeah. Yeah. Low amateur at the Masters automatically gets you an invite to the next year.
I don't know if he was low amateur. I think he was the only amateur that made the cut. Back to back, back to back.
I think he was too. Now that you're saying that, but
Hopefully this
yeah, I
kid.
mean,
I don't know. I don't know that family or anything. So, but yes, congratulations to Nick for sure. Keep it up, kid.
yeah, big time. That's a major accomplishment, man. Especially with the way that the competitive stature is right now in golf, yeah, Scotty Scheffler is far and
Xander,
away the best in the world.
Schauffele and
But
Scotty Scheffler.
but from 2 down,
It's a
you
Kickstarter.
got probably 30, 40 guys.
Yeah, you got Tony. I don't know what happened to Tony Finau.
I don't know. I mean, it was really kind of
Remember when
crazy.
Dustin Johnson just kind of fell off the face of the earth too? I mean, he's still there, but like, remember when he was number one for what, 6 years running or whatever?
Oh yeah, DJ was number 1 for a long time. I mean, there's a lot of guys that kind of fell off. Rory fell off. Justin Rose fell off.
He's
Um,
not even playing this weekend. I hope that missed putt didn't like kill like his ego.
Boy, I tell you what, I mean, that wasn't what a 3-foot putt, literally a 3-foot putt.
Right.
And he just lipped it. I don't know if he had to have completely misread it. And
Something wrong.
that cost him.
Cost him the whole tournament. Just unbelievable.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, they should have been playing 18 on Monday.
at the course.
Would have been interesting.
Well, that's right. The
But,
Open is the 18th the following day, huh?
right. Because remember when
The
Tiger and had that tiebreaker?
The Masters goes into playoff that day, I believe, and the Open goes.
Yeah, the other 3 majors do it that day. But the U.S. Open is 18 holes the next day.
That Pinehurst too that's a joke. That ain't no joke.
No, but okay, if you could play one golf major, which one you playing?
I'm only gonna get to play it once, right?
Get to play it once.
I would want to go to St. Andrews.
You play the British?
I would want to go. I would want to go play it. I would want to try to get out one of them sand dunes. I would want to try and get into the rough and see what happens when you start hacking with the machete.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just think I'd like to go play Oakmont. Obviously, I haven't played it. But yeah, if I had a choice, I think I would seriously want to go overseas. I've never been overseas. The only place I've been out of the country is, uh, excuse me, Nassau. I've only been to Nassau, and I only went to Atlantis, and I walked around the hotel, and then we went to the beach right beside it, and I drank out of a coconut for $5 all day, and was completely hammered. That was my out of the states.
Well, there you go. Hey,
I think
tough to beat
$5
that.
a day, and I'm like, dude, are you sure? Like $5 I'm gonna take you broke. I didn't know how much my money was down there. I gave him a 10. I probably got him through like 3 weeks.
Wow.
Yeah, I
There
went
you
through.
go.
The guys like you went through 2 bottles of rum just sitting at the beach. Like, I'm on vacation. I had no kids then. I was having a blast. The only thing is weird though. The only thing that was weird whenever I was down there, like, I guess Atlantis must have a closed off part of the ocean
Right.
to keep their water kind of calm. So that current that wipes off the side of Atlantis on the right side is so powerful. Like, you couldn't even go in the ocean. Like, if you went and stood like with your feet in there, like, you had to like dig your feet underneath the sand just to try and stand right without getting pushed over. Like, that's how strong the current is. I was highly impressed. I was like, wow.
Pretty cool. Yeah, I've been to Costa Rica. My wife won a contest with her company, and we went to Costa Rica about, gosh, it's got to be about 11 years now ago. And Very, very nice. Very, very nice. Did a little excursion type stuff and all that, but we went and we played golf at the resort we were staying at. Hit my shot from the fairway up toward the green, not on the green, toward the green.
The green. Okay.
Bumped it to the right a little bit. My wife's is over to the left. So we come up over the knob of this hill, and I get ready to go over toward my ball, and there's an iguana, about a 8 foot long iguana sitting there looking at me. And he's 6 inches from the ball, maybe a foot from the ball. Okay. And I mean, those suckers, his tail, he was 8 foot long, and that tail was 6 foot of him. And I had always read, do not jack with those guys because that tail is like getting hit with a baseball bat.
Right. It's
So
razor
I'm
sharp.
thinking, all right, how's this going to work? And my wife's on the other side. She's trying to figure out what the heck I'm doing because I'm standing there just waiting to see what's happening.
Right.
And I'm talking to this iguana. I'm like, all right, man, I promise I'm not going to hurt you. I'm just going to hit this ball away and we're all good, right? No problem. And he ain't moving. So I'm thinking, okay, I might have a shot. Of course, my long arms kind of helps the cause a little bit too. I reach over and I hit it. And when I came through my swing, I looked down and the iguana's gone. Just completely vanished.
Gone.
I was
Eight
like,
foot just gone.
Okay.
Hmm.
So very very lucky there, but yeah, the wildlife out there was pretty neat. We didn't go in the water very much, but the wildlife that we saw out there was really, really neat.
I don't remember. I don't remember. Like we were only there for 6 hours.
Mm.
Drank way too much liquor. I didn't remember. Like, luckily, I made friends with people on the boat, and they were like, "Let's go. We're gonna miss the boat." I would have been one of those guys. Like, and then I got on the boat, and
Long swim.
I'm getting on the boat, and I'm like, my buddy was with his girl, and they went and did their excursion, and they're like, and they come running, and I see them running, and I'm like, dude, just wait, they're right there, and they almost missed the boat from the excursion because they were absolutely just shit faced. I was like, did you guys do anything? And they're like, I have no idea. That's it.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. So it was fun. We had an absolute blast. So that was what I know and what we did, and I had a good time. But that
What happens in Atlanta stays in Atlanta?
no, nothing came back. We just had a good time. I mean, we
That's
just had
cool.
it's one of those things, man. Occasionally, you have those good times without having extra good.
Oh yeah, no. I wasn't saying anything like that. I'm just thinking, do some crazy stuff like hangover type, things that you do some really weird stuff,
I
and
became a bartender and gave them American money so they wouldn't run my white card. That saved probably a ton of money.
no,
But yeah, we're way off topic again, but that's all right. We're allowed.
yeah.
It's our it's our show. Do whatever the heck we want.
Well, it's like I put in the Facebook thing because I actually did share it live on my Facebook page tonight. I put in here it says more shenanigans. We start pirates, and God knows where we go from there.
Oh man. Well, we did have a good. Well, I mean, I don't know. I felt we should have swept the Reds because I can't stand Cincinnati, but we didn't. But
Yeah.
it was still a good game, 2-1. Today was kind of boring. I didn't. Today was just one of those games. Like it was hard to watch.
Well,
Hard
I
to get
listened to a bunch of it, and the big thing to me is that we're doing outside of the Cardinals series, which, if I remember right, I said that was going to be a tough one. We're doing exactly what I said we needed to do in June.
That's all we can ask.
Um, we went into June and we took, We split with Toronto Saturday and Sunday. We took 2 out of 3 from the Dodgers, 2 out of 3 from the Twins. We lost 2 out of 3 to the Cardinals on the road, nothing to sneeze at. Took 2 out of 3 from Colorado. Took 2, and we got mollywopped in that middle game. I don't know what the heck happened there.
What who
Took
was
2
that?
out of 3 from huh?
Who did we get? I forget. That middle game. Who was that?
That was Jones.
Oh yeah, Jones had a bad game, but they almost came
Yeah,
back.
I remember that, but I was just like, good grief, what the heck happened there? So now, we took 2 out of 3 from Cincy. We got Tampa for 3 over the weekend, and then we hit the road to Cincinnati for 3, and then to Atlanta for 3 to wrap up the month.
And then we go
If
back.
we can pull out 2 out of 3, if I remember right, I was talking 2 out of 3 from Tampa, 2 out of 3 from Cincy, and then 1 out of 3 from Atlanta on the road. That puts us over 500, or at 500. No, 1 game over going into July. I'm not mad at that.
They're not out of it,
Are
but
you?
what is Nutting going to open up the books? Is Nutting going to tell them to go get someone? Is Nutting going to allow it?
It would have to be the kind of deal where the other team is going to eat a bunch of the salary. And I'll use the guy you brought up last show, Vlad Jr. If we were going to bring in Vlad Jr., the Blue Jays would have to eat probably 80% of his salary for Nutting to do it. If we were going to get I'm trying to think who else would be in that particular Christian Walker. Because he's another one that's on. He would be a rent a player.
Like,
But
there's too many teams still in the mix, Rich.
there is. I mean, in the National League, there's really only 2 teams that are out, and that's Colorado and Miami. In the American League, the Angels, the A's, and the White Sox, and that's it.
That's the thing. All it's going to take. Miami's on a different level, but I mean, we've seen Colorado. If they can put it together, they can make a run at the wild card.
They're 10 games out of. I'm sorry, 11 games out of the wild card spot, and that would be jumping over 9 teams. Colorado ain't putting that big of a stretch together. The Angels, no. The A's, no. I think the A's are going to be dumping a few guys. I don't know that Mason Moore is going to get traded. I think they're going to try and build around him a little bit. But could I see a guy like maybe JJ Bleday or an Esteury Ruiz or somebody like that? Possibly. White Sox, I mean, everybody's talking Lewis Robert. I like Lewis Robert. The big problem is the man can't stay healthy. If I remember right, he's played over 100 games twice in his career. When he plays, he's great. But it's when he plays.
Those injuries scare me. But then again, he's on a bad team. Might they shelve him early with the injuries? Might they give in a little bit more because they're on a bad team and they know if they keep him like maybe out a little bit longer, it will keep him healthier to bring in more interest in a trade?
Well, I mean, he's been playing since he came off that hamstring injury, but he's just
the White Sox kind of like just.
Well, you want to know how bad the White Sox are right now?
They're not very good. I know that.
Their leading hitter is 237. That's Paul DeYoung.
Like I said, they're not very good.
Not good at all. I mean, they are going to be We've got a month to the All-Star break. They're going to have 75 losses before the All-Star break. They may have 80 before the All-Star break.
Okay, that's definitely a seller.
I mean, the A's are another one. They're liable to have 70, 75 losses by the All-Star game.
The A's? I know they're bad.
The Angels have got some talent that I wouldn't mind seeing in a Pirates uniform. The only problem is they're going to want some solid prospects more than likely for him. I talked to you before about Logan O'Hoppe, their catcher. Kid's hitting 280. Playing a really good catcher, has, I believe, 9 homers. I could be wrong. But he would be a good one to grab. I mean,
better than
there's the two big holes the Pirates have is first base and center field.
Police is starting to get hot though.
I know.
Waking up. I mean, he's getting hits. He's getting better. He's getting better.
Getting better, yes. But if I could bring in somebody that is consistent, I guess would be the right word. And the name that you keep hearing thrown around, and it's of course from Miami, is Josh Bell.
Why?
I don't know that Josh Bell is going to be any more consistent than Rowdy Tellez is.
No, he's an analytic. He's an analytic stat.
Yeah.
Home run.
I mean, I don't see any conceivable way that that's going to make any more of an improvement than just leaving Tellez there, except with the glove. Because Bell is a better defensive first baseman than Tellez. I mean, there's no arguing that.
No,
Flip
Bell's
side,
have a no trade clause.
What's that?
Does he have a no trade clause?
No.
Or does he have a set of teams where he doesn't want to go? Because I don't think Josh Bell would want
to. Would Bell want to come back to Pittsburgh? I don't know.
I don't think he would.
I honestly don't know, but they've got to do something about first base. I mean, when we talked to our buddy from Baltimore, would Ryan O'Hearn? Would we love to see Ryan O'Hearn in black and gold? Abso-freaking-lutely.
So we'd have to give up a pitcher because that's what they need.
Yeah, but the thing is, he's not the best first baseman on their team. Mountcastle is. But O'Hearn can play first. He can play the outfield. He's a Connor Joe as far as that goes. But he's a heck of a lot better hitter than Connor Joe and a much better first baseman.
Connor Joe slacking lately too. He's dropped off a little bit lately over the last 10. I know it ain't much to compare, but he's definitely slacked off a little bit.
I'm really. It's going to be interesting to see because, like you said, there just aren't very many teams that are completely out of it.
And that's what makes it take away that awkward time period from the end of July. That where like, hey, a trade just happened, but it's after the deadline.
Yeah.
Well,
and
weird move.
If the player clears waivers, then they're able to perform in the postseason, but they have to clear waivers.
That's not no. Remember how when they used to do them weird, like awkward trades, like after the deadline?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Now they took them away.
Yeah, and they moved up the trade deadline. So or they didn't move it up this year. They're moving it up next year. It's going to become, I believe, July 12th or 10th or something. It's going to be right around the All-Star game. July 30th. I mean, when you sit here and look at what can happen between now and July 30th,
Do you
the
feel
Pirates could the Pirates could crap the bed. You know, I mean,
right now?
they could but I don't think they will with their pitching.
Now with them moving the trade deadline up, Rich? Do you feel that they're trying to go back to maybe people staying in one city for a career?
No, because free agency killed that.
I'm just saying. Now there's no rental. Like once they move this trade deadline up, people aren't going to
Right.
know where they really stand.
Well, that's very possible. You're right. But what I'm also saying is that even though you would eliminate the rent a player, you're still looking at free agency allowing players to move team to team a lot easier. Um, and unfortunately, that's the case. I hate the fact that you know you we talk. I seem to remember we talked about this a little while back. You sit there and look how many prominent players in Major League Baseball right now, let's say 8, 9 years or more, have spent their whole career with one team. And there ain't that many. Altuve, Trout, you know,
Man, yeah,
uh,
there's not that many. You might be able to count it under
there.
your.
I think when we did that the other day, there was like less than 10 that were prominent ball players that had done that. It's ridiculous. Um, I'm trying to think how many years has Vladdy played? Vlad Jr.
Um,
He's in what his seventh or eighth year.
I would say eighth,
So I guess you could count him. Um,
but we know he's
you
gonna
know,
probably gonna go. He's probably gonna go
uh,
somewhere. He's not gonna stay in Toronto.
Vlad Jr. He is well. He's only 25, so he hasn't been up that
He's,
long.
he's not. I think he came out when he was 18, didn't he?
Yeah,
I don't think he went through the
he
ranks.
came up in that. That's 7 years. But I mean, you got Vladdy. I'm just kind of going down the teams. Houston. You got um, you got Altuve. Um, Arizona, nobody. Atlanta, Austin Riley, Acuna. Um,
Wasn't Albies in it?
Baltimore, everybody's too young. Boston, Rafael Devers. Um, Cubs, nobody. White Sox, nobody. Reds, they're too young. Cleveland, Jose Ramirez.
They're
Um,
they're gonna let
Colorado, no, huh?
they're gonna let him retire Indian for sure. They're not gonna let him walk.
Yeah. Colorado, nobody. Detroit, nobody. Houston,
Cuba.
Altuve.
Cuba's,
Um, Kansas City, too young.
wait,
Well, Sal Perez.
what about
Um,
Detroit? What about Skubal? He's been there a while.
Scubal's he's in his fifth year.
Okay. I didn't know how I didn't know when we were stopping the age. I just knew he's been there a while.
Yeah, I'm saying like 8 years or longer. Yeah.
8 longer. Okay.
Um, Angels, of course, you got Trout. Dodgers, you got Kershaw. Um, that's pretty much it. Uh, Marlins. I guess the question is, do you consider Jazz Chisholm a premier player? Um,
People do.
if so, then there you go. Milwaukee,
I only get Christian
nope.
Yelich.
No, he started out in Miami. He was a
Okay.
Marlin and got traded.
I forgot. I thought he was homegrown. I forgot.
Minnesota, Byron Bucks.
Buxton,
Mets,
at least 9 years, I believe.
what, Buxton? Yeah.
Yeah.
Mets, I mean, you're looking at Alonso, but
And
has he
say,
been around that long?
what about David Wright? He didn't go anywhere. He was on the Mets
Well,
for a
but
long,
David Wright's not on the team right now.
right, but he was on the team for a long time.
Right, right. But I'm saying guys that are on the current 2024 roster.
Yeah, gotcha.
Yankees, nobody. They're too young. Everybody that they've got, Soto and Stanton. Well, I guess Judge isn't at 8 years yet, is he?
No, I think he's only at 5.
Can't be.
I
Yeah.
think he's at 5 or 6.
Yeah. Oakland, nobody. Philly, Aaron Nola. Um, that's probably about it. Pirates, Kutch, but
But he,
he hasn't stayed with the Pirates the whole time. San Diego, Tatis hasn't been around long enough. San
um,
Francisco, no. Seattle, no, because Julio hasn't been around long enough.
that's the only person that jumped in.
Uh,
So,
yeah, St. Louis, no, because Goldie and Arenado both came in from other teams.
Wolfman
Um,
came from Arizona.
yeah, Tampa.
I don't care how homegrown they are. They still get rid of their guys.
Yeah, Tampa, no. Rangers, no. Toronto, Vladdy, and the Nationals,
I don't
too
think any.
young. C.J. Abrams is too young. I mean, he's only played a couple of years.
I think of
Um,
Thomas. So
Logan Thomas is only a couple of years too.
I wasn't sure how long. I know I've had him on my fantasy team the last couple of years.
Yeah. So I mean, or Lane Thomas. I'm sorry, not Logan Thomas. Lane Thomas. But I mean, that's what, probably a dozen guys.
That's it.
The free agency has caused all this, you know, toss salad of ball players going to ball teams,
I'm not
and
stopping.
you don't see. Yeah, I mean,
Team wants
well,
to see the team do it, dude. I mean, I
huh?
remember whenever they signed Geno Stanton. Remember they called Judge in and said, "Hey, do you want us to sign Stanton?" And he's like, "Oh, you mean I might have to DH and split the right field with him? Yeah, bring him in."
Yeah, and
So I mean,
I
looking
mean,
at
they've put teams together, and I mean, the Rangers are just as guilty. They brought in Seager, they brought in Simeon, they brought in DeGrom and Scherzer and John Gray and guys like that. But
I'm a homegrown guy.
sir,
Is Heim a grown Ranger? Jonah
no,
Heim?
Jonah Heim came from Tampa.
Okay, I wasn't sure.
Yeah, Jonah came from Tampa. He came to the Rangers 3 years ago, 2 years ago.
I mean, like
Last year was his second year with the Rangers.
no one really heard his name in Tampa, so that's what I was wondering.
No, because he was actually playing behind Christian Bethencourt.
Huh.
The only time Jonah got to play was when Bethencourt was hurt, and Rangers saw something, and
And
because
they
that was what the Rangers had him and Jose Trevino, and they traded Trevino to the Yankees along with Isaiah Kiner-Falefa.
that name, that name. Oh man. I don't really. Rich, we got any more? I mean, I'm not trying to cut this short because unfortunately I have to be ass
We've
early to
already
work.
beat that horse, dude. We're at 145.
I know. I know.
No, I'm with you. I got a doctor's appointment in the morning and that kind of stuff too. So I'm with you.
Work is killing me this week. A couple people got
Mm.
sick. I'm getting asked to do a little more than normal, and I'm not excited, but I got to get it done. You got to do what you got to do. This adulting thing, no one broke this down to me like this.
Mm.
You didn't learn this in high school, Rich. But, yeah, tell Rich, if you got any comments from your Facebook people, let me know.
I will. I will. Didn't get anything yet, but I'm sure I will.
And if they want to actually join in on the conversation, if you know them well enough, we can get the invite and let them on stage and they can talk to us. I'm not opposed. I let everyone come on the stage because that's the whole way I got started. That is the whole way I got started at meeting people, finding people. I had Scott Warner on the show and I didn't even know who the hell he was. Jason was like ready to kill me when I told him I had him on the show, and he was like, "You had Scott Warner on your show?" I'm like, "Yeah." Didn't know who the hell he was. Just wanted to talk Dodgers. That was it.
Well,
And he starts telling me all these World
what I
Series.
mean,
And then he starts telling me all these World Series stories, and I'm like, I should have done a little more research here.
yeah, maybe so, maybe so.
He's like,
But
I
yeah,
sat
I
next,
mean,
next to
it's
Steve.
definitely one of those.
I'm like, oh no. I'm like, oh no. What am I missing? But yeah, that was my biggest audience. He's like, do you have a Twitter thing going right now? I was like, yeah, and he's like, share it with me real quick. And that was probably like the biggest audience I had in a matter of 5 minutes. It was like 6,000 people. And I was like, who is this guy and why do I know nothing?
Wow.
I just wanted to
Well,
talk Dodgers. I just wanted to talk Dodgers. That was it. I didn't know who I had, but I had fun.
you know
I still
now.
I still talk to him to this day.
That's awesome.
I do want to bring Jeff Fry back on. I think that would be fun. I love Jeff. He was a good.
Yeah, and I got to do a little more due diligence on some of my people because I've already I've got us a Rangers guy for when Pirates play the Rangers. I already got that lined up. And I got to work on a few other people because I've got people around here that I think could make a impact on the show. Zach Duke, Kip Wells, guys like that. So I could give us that former Pirate kind of thing.
Yeah, unfortunately, Rich, I know you got date night tomorrow, but like I said, I like talking to Josh. This will be the third time on the show, so
Yeah, man. I hope you have a good show tomorrow night. I really do.
Hey, if you're done with date night early, let me know.
I will. I definitely will. I'll shoot you a message if we get done early, and
I'll send you the link, and then that way you can just jump in if you want. How about
okay.
that? I'm not
Fair
telling you to
enough.
cut it off, but I will send you the link just in case date night ends a little bit early.
Gotcha. Something that I wasn't sure about. I wasn't sure if you were into or if there was someone else within the network as I tighten my brace on my foot. That would be interested in doing some sort of a watch along type deal with some of the WWE or AEW type stuff or
Talk to
any
John.
of that kind of deal.
Talk to John.
Okay.
John does WWE. John does all wrestling.
Okay.
But yes, definitely. Matt does too. Talk to Matt or Josh. Now that you know where the group is, it's gonna be a lot easier for you to communicate.
Yeah. Yeah.
I would
Because like I say,
I would definitely pin it and save it as driving to the top group. That way you find it within like 10 seconds. Like I have it all saved in my top part of my thing. So whenever I log on to Twitter, I see it right away. If there's any message. Like I pin
yeah,
it.
I've got it pinned in my messages.
So it should be like right up top whenever you look at your messages.
Yeah. I that's why I say I pinned it. It's at the top of my messages and conversations.
Yeah, so
Um,
they're like, as soon as we're done, say, "Hey, I'm up for talking wrestling." John just got his own radio show in Boston for wrestling.
cool.
So yeah, John is huge. John is really good too. Chair Shot Sports. I'm sure everyone knows him if you follow the page. He just had an episode come out Tuesday, Wednesday. I forget what day I released it.
Gotcha. Yeah,
Yeah,
I've
he's
got
more than
that
them
that
too.
I know. I probably know wrestling as well, or maybe even slightly better because I was in it than baseball.
Well, yeah, definitely shoot Matt and John a message, man. Leave it in the group. Be like, hey, I want to talk wrestling. They will definitely be there.
Okay. And the good part is, it's old school, new school. So, we can get into old WWE, old NWA, world class, mid South,
The
all that
That
craziness.
Baltimore kid will sit there and talk old school wrestling with you all day.
There you go.
Yeah, John's got like whenever you see John's room, he's got all the belts around him and stuff. So
Yeah. Well,
John's
I was gonna, except for the fact that it's on the other side of the room, I was gonna wear my new hat that I got from Pro Wrestling Tees the other day. It's very political. It says "Make Wrestling Great Again." That's my political campaign for this year. Make wrestling great again.
I love it. I love it. Everyone hated it, but they're all running with it.
I, you know,
I don't know.
I mean, there's
I
it's
try to
it's fun.
leave my political views off the show.
But yeah, man, I'll definitely let you know tomorrow where we're at, and
Yeah,
go from
so
there.
that's the way we're gonna do it, and we'll go from there, buddy. But
You
yeah,
got it, man.
definitely that group chat, and let's go.
Sounds good. As always, a good show.
How people get you.
Say again.
How people get you.
At Go Big Go Home Pod on X, Rich Richardson on Facebook. That's the easiest ways to get me. Hit me up, and if you like what we're talking about, great. If you don't, that's cool too. Uh, Love a good debate. Don't
Exactly.
always like when someone always agrees. That's the worst when you get people that always agree with you.
I don't I don't know. It don't bother me at all. Either way, comments are comments. People leave stuff, and I don't love it. But anyway, you can find me at Sports Talking It on Twitter. Also find me at Driving to the Top on Twitter or X, whatever we're freaking calling it this today. And then you can also find me on Facebook under Ad McNally, Adam McNally. Both accounts are active. Long story short, back in the political stuff, somewhere some Facebook user screwed over that account. Anyway, yeah. So also, Rich, I just want to tell you, if you get your account suspended, or they say they're deleting your account for a year,
Uh-huh.
just pay attention to your email in about a year because they kind of send you a thing that says "Welcome back to Facebook."
Oh,
That's why I have two accounts.
gotcha.
Um. Anyway, you can also find us on Driving to the Top Productions on YouTube. Look for Miss Phoenix, who is I don't know where she is tonight. Didn't even make a cameo tonight. Yeah, give us a like, subscribe, turn those notes on, and yes, everybody, thank you for tuning in, and everybody have a good night.
Good night.